We're opening a new clinical file in the Dark Archives today. We're looking at one of the most popular characters in Bleach. Her name is Yoruichi Shihouin. To the normal anime fan, she's a very fun and relaxing character. We first meet her as a talking black cat with a deep, funny voice. She is a cool mentor who teaches Ichigo how to fight. She loves to tease people and make inappropriate jokes. She acts like she does not have a single care in the world, but in a line of work, humor is always a red flag. A loud laugh is usually a mark for a very deep scream. If you look past the jokes, you will see a deeply broken woman. You will see the psychological proof of a runaway soldier. Yoruichi is not just a funny cat lady who likes to drink milk. She was the absolute peak of the Soul Society military elite. She was the princess of the royal family and a god of death. But she threw all of that massive power right into the garbage. She chose to live in the dirt as a stray animal for 100 years. Today we are going to be exploring the hidden truth behind her smile. We're going to look at a terrible weight of abandonment. To understand the sickness, we need to look at where she was born. Yoruichi was born into the Shihouin clan. This is one of the 4 great noble families in the Soul Society. From the exact second she took her first breath, her life was planned. She was told that she was better than everyone else. She was given the absolute best food, clothes, and weapons. But being a noble in the dark world is not a blessing. It is a golden cage built on top of a giant graveyard. The Shihouin clan is known as the caretakers of the heavenly gear. This is just a fancy way of saying guard the weapons of mass destruction. They are the keepers of the Soul Society's darkest, bloodiest secrets. Yoruichi was forced to be her head of this terrifying family. She had to sit in a boring meeting with old, corrupt men. She had to smile and nod while the government ordered mass murders. She was a young woman carrying the sins of 1,000-year-old cult. She realized very early on that her royal title was actually a prison. The system demanded that she be perfect, cold, and entirely ruthless. She was not allowed to be a human being with real feelings. But the nightmare of her royal life gets even worse because of her family's name. She was given a very specific military job. She became the commander of the Onimitsukido. In English, that translates to the stealth force. Let us drop the cool ninja aesthetic and look at the clinical reality. The stealth force is a secret state-sponsored assassination ring. They do the dirty work that the regular captains are too proud to do. If a Soul Reaper breaks a rule, Yoruichi's team hunts them down in the dark. They do not arrest them or put them on fair trial. They slit their throats in the shadows and hide their dead bodies. Yoruichi was the boss of this massive death squad. She also ran the Maggot's Nest and undergo prisons with no windows. The government locked people in there just for thinking bad thoughts. Yoruichi had to walk past those screaming prisoners every single day. She was the brutal fist of the deeply corrupted government. She washed her hands in fresh blood to keep the rich nobles safe. Imagine the heavy psychological toll of being the heavy executioner. She cannot do the job for long without losing her own soul. This brings us to the most famous event in her long life. 100 years ago, Sosuke Aizen framed her best friend, Kisuke Urahara. Urahara was blamed for a terrible crime and sentenced to be banished. Without hesitating, Yoruichi broke into the Central 46 courtroom. She rescued Urahara and completely destroyed her own royal life. She gave up her money, her title, her rank to escape to the human world. On the surface, that looks like a beautiful act of true friendship. It looks like she's sacrificing everything to save the man she loved. But a clinical profile reveals a much darker, selfish motive. The hidden truth is that Yoruichi always was desperate to leave. She was already suffocating under the blood and royal rules. She was drowning in the guilt of assassin's life. Urahara's fake trial was not just a tragedy for her friend. It was the perfect excuse she had been waiting for. It was her only golden ticket out of the slaughterhouse. She did not just run away to save Kisuke Urahara's life. She ran away because she finally woke up from the Matrix. She used his crisis to permanently break her own heavy chains. But when you run away from a prison, you usually leave people behind. This brings us to the darkest stain of Yoruichi's psychological record. We have to talk about her young student, Soi Fon. Soi Fon worshipped the ground that Yoruichi walked on. She looked at Yoruichi like a perfect goddess and a mother. But when Yoruichi ran away into the night, she did not just say goodbye, she did not leave a letter, she did not explain her choice. She just vanished into the air and left Soi Fon totally alone. Let us look at the massive trauma that caused that young girl. Soi Fon's entire worldview violently collapsed in a single second. She felt completely worthless, abandoned, and deeply betrayed. She spent the next 100 years turning her sadness into bitter hate. She became a cold, cruel assassin just to hide her broken heart. This is the exact definition of a severe abandonment trauma. Yoruichi knew how much Soi Fon loved her and needed her, but she left the child behind in a bloody assassination squad anyway. She brought her own freedom with her students' mental health. This is the heavy guilt that Yoruichi carries under her smile. Let us examine her most famous trick, the Black Cat transformation. For an entire century, Yoruichi lived her life stuck in the body of an animal. She ate out of bowls, slept on rooftops, and let people pet her. Why would a royal princess choose to live the life of a dirty stray? It is a brilliant, tragic, psychological defense mechanism. When she is a cat, nobody expects her to be a noble leader. Nobody expects a cat to lead a squad of brutal killers. A cat does not have a last name, and a cat does not have a job. By shifting her physical form and stripping away her human identity, she was hiding from the heavy burden of being Yoruichi Shihouin. It is a literal manifestation of her desire to be completely invisible. If you do not have a human face, you do not have to feel human guilt. She stayed in that furry body to punish herself from running away. She lived in the dirt because she felt she did not deserve a royal bed. The Black Cat is not a cute, funny magic trick in the audience. It is the ultimate symbol of a soldier trying to erase her own past. Now we must look at the famous combat style. Yoruichi is known across the world as the goddess of Flash. She's the absolute fastest character in the entire Soul Society. She mastered the Flash step better than anyone alive in the Gotei 13. But in the clinical profiles, superpowers are always a metaphor. Why did she dedicate her entire life to running faster than light? Because speed is the ultimate tool for avoiding your deep problems. If you're always moving, nobody can ever pin you down. If you're always fast enough, you can run right past your own bad memories. Her combat style perfectly matches her broken personality. She never stays in one place for too long. She jumps in, causes a distraction, and disappears in a blur. She refused to carry her Zangpak-to, the traditional sword of her people. Carrying a sword means you are a soldier, committed to the fight. Fighting with your bare hands means you're always ready to sprint away. Her title as the Goddess of Flash is actually deeply sad. She is the undisputed champion of running away from her responsibilities. The darkest part of the profile happens in the human world. When the threat of Aizen became real, what does Yoruichi do? Does she put her old uniform and lead the army into battle? No, she refuses to take the absolute lead. Instead, she trains a group of innocent human teenagers to do it. She trains Ichigo, Orihime, and Chad to fight in a spiritual war. She teaches high school students how to bleed and die for the Soul Society. This is a massive, horrific moral failure in her part. She ran away from the military because it was too corrupted and bloody, but then she groomed young children to fight for the exact same system. She pushed Ichigo to break his own limits so she does not have to do it. She uses the kids as a shield to fight the war she abandoned. She plays the role of a funny mentor to hide her dark manipulation. She sends innocent kids into the very meat grinder she escaped, and is a twisted cycle of violence that she refused to break. Late in the story, we see her ultimate power, the Shunko, and eventually she unlocks her Thunder Beast form. When she enters this form, she loses her ability to speak like a human. Her mind is completely regressed into pure raw animal instinct. She acts like a wild, angry cat that needs to be controlled. Urahara even has to have a special tool to point her at the enemy. This transformation is the final collapse of her human psychology. She stops trying to balance her noble past and her runaway present. She completely surrenders her mind into the wild beast inside her. It is the ultimate rejection of human thought and human guilt. When she is in a Thunder Beast, she does not have to remember Soi Fon. She does not have to remember the maggot's nest or the blood. She just gets to be an angry storm of lightning and claws. It is a terrifying display of a woman completely letting go of her sanity. She destroys her own mind just to win the fight without feeling the pain. Let us close the file of the subject Yoruichi Shihouin. What is the final verdict of this dark autopsy? She is not the cool, laid-back mentor we all thought she was. She is highly traumatized veteran of a very dirty war. She was crushed by the impossible weight of the noble system. She chose to become a stray animal rather than a state executioner. But you cannot just walk away from a lifetime of killing. The blood follows you, even if you run faster than the speed of light. She hides her massive survivor's guilt behind dirty jokes and loud laughs. She broke her heart of her loyal student just to save herself, as she forced a new generation of kids to fight the demons she left behind. Yoruichi Shihouin achieved absolute physical freedom in the human world, but in her mind she is still locked inside the dark walls of the stealth force. Her truth is often scarier than the flashy spiritual stuff on the screen, but hey, that is a chilling profile for another night. Bon Kai.